It was September of 2013, and I was just starting my second year of university. I was 18 years old with a happy family, and all of a sudden, my family, extended family, we sat there and watched my father pass away at 8 o'clock in the morning, and watched my mother beg my father not to die. The reason he died was due to medical negligence, and he was just 50 years old. He should still be here.
Alright, so tell us a little bit more about your dad, who he was, and who he was to your family. Let's go.
My dad was really a fantastic man, where I come from an awesome family. Me, my brother Ryan, he's 6 years my senior. My mum Sandra and my dad Sean. We grew up with a couple of cats as well. But my dad was a good man, he did everything he did was for us. He came from not much, he grew up in West Hendon in North London, in a small apartment with my grandma and his sister, and he was the man of the house. His father left him sadly when he was very young. So my dad, he started off as a tradesman, and when he sadly passed away, he was a self-employed financial advisor for many years, working for himself, and he did everything. Every day he worked 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, which frustrated my mother, of course, but it was so that we could all live the life that we lived, and it was a good life. Ultimately, that's why when what happened, it really hit us all in the face. It was September of 2013, and I was just starting my second year of university, enjoying Freshers Week for about 8 days, when I got a call from my family to say that my dad has been taken to hospital with pneumonia. A healthy man, not a drinker, a big football player, big golf player, used the gym 2 or 3 times a week, and a great soul. I went down to London to visit my dad. He was in a NHS hospital at the time, and he had to get some fluid drained from his lungs from the pneumonia, And unfortunately, if he were to stay in the NHS hospital, he would have had to wait 3 or 4 days to have this fluid drained. But he did have good private healthcare through his business. And they said, look, we can move you to a central London hospital tomorrow, where we can do this operation. It would involve you going under while we drain this fluid. And in my head, I thought, fantastic, he's going to be in great care, as did my family. And I actually went back to university to be with my friends, to get on with everything, because I thought, he's a strong man, everything's going to be fine. It was just 2 or 3 days later when I got a call from my mum. And she, safe to say, was extremely upset. So much so that actually my uncle had to call me back. And he said, David, you need to come back to London and you need to come back now. And that's when I learned that actually what had happened is my father was taken into surgery. He was put under, they drained the fluid. And as he was in an induced coma, let's say in recovery mode after the surgery had happened, the tube that was feeding him oxygen was actually dislodged for between 9 and 15 minutes. And his brain, his body was starved of oxygen for no less than 9 minutes. And as we all know, anything more than 3 minutes is severe brain damage. So I raced back to London. My uncle actually came to pick me up. It was like 11 p.m. on a Wednesday. My family had agreed with the hospital that on the Thursday morning, we have one option really, and one option only, and that is to turn the machines off and see if my father is to survive, at which point he's got insanely bad brain damage. And we did that as a family. We sat there by his hospital bed, we turned the machines off, and the inevitable happened. And ultimately, I was 18 years old, with a happy family, and all of a sudden We sat there and watched my father pass away at 8 o'clock in the morning. I quite frankly watched my mother beg my father not to die. The energy in the whole hospital is just off. Something isn't right. And this doctor looked me in the eye and he said, "David, I'm so sorry, but somebody here has really messed up today." And that alone, the questions, I mean, the anger, I was furious, you know. I was so furious, my friend had to take me outside of the hospital. And I think that just shows the pure state of unrest that I was in. I didn't know what was happening. I've just watched my father pass away. I just had a head doctor in this hospital, a highly regarded hospital, should I add, told me that one of his staff members has messed up.
Did you reach out to any other charities, and what did you make of that?
It was tough, naturally. You know, I was back at university within 3 weeks, and on my mind, I'm thinking about my family at home. I'm thinking about this ongoing court case. You know, there's a lot on my mind. My friends are fantastic. My friends really helped me, talking a lot. You know, I was busy playing sport, partying, you know, drowning my sorrows in many different ways. The university, they simply did not have the infrastructure or the processes to help me with what I've just experienced and been through. They didn't have what I needed. I reached out to a few charities. I did a bit of counselling, but it just didn't work for me, to be perfectly honest, because I wasn't speaking to people who had been through what I'd just been through, had experienced that trauma and that pain. And I'm now, you know, 18, 19 years old, back at university, dealing with all of these things that I've just mentioned, especially this ongoing court case that's only just begun. Fortunately, my father made some financial contingencies. He was a smart man. So, you know, we were in a situation that we were able to get some things done, including paying for the funeral, you know, which I'm forever grateful for, because I know so many people now that really are not in that situation. And, you know, I don't know where we would have been as a family, or me personally, without my father making the choices he made in his life. And that, you know, that really helped us. I'm 28 years old now. I've got a loving fiance. I'm a father now myself. We've got our own pet dog. And I run my own business, you know, just like my father did. The grief, it never goes away. The pain doesn't go away, right? But I'm certainly confident enough to say that I am more at one with the situation, right? So I look back now with a lot more clarity over the last 9, 10 years. And I always think to myself, like, I really wish I had the necessary support early on in the grief and throughout it. And, you know, that's ultimately why I personally joined It's Time to work with these fantastic trustees. Because not only do we really know what it feels like, but we want to make sure that any young adult who goes through this has the tailored support that they need, you know, and ultimately never feels alone.
All ready?
Yeah.
Cool.
Good to go. It's Time was started at the back end of 2020, start of 2021. COVID had hit. A lot of people were losing loved ones, family members, and parents. It brought back a lot of emotions for myself. I'd gone through grief myself. I'd lost my mother in 2011, 10 years previous to it. and there was no support. Similar to David's story, we hear it time and time again. Its Time is here to help 18 to 30-year-olds who have lost a parent or both parents. We are a group of 7 trustees who have all lost a parent. We are a community for the community. We're here to help people like David and others, thousands of others around the UK.
Why is it specifically different to other charities that provide this sort of service?
So no loss is the same, but imagine if you lose a parent and you don't know how to sort out their finances and there's no money left in the bank, in your bank. How do you operate? How does that work? Imagine trying to get employability but not having anyone to ask any questions about what industry this is or what education I need for this thing. It's difficult with a parent and both parents, let alone without a parent, or going through grief as you're going through those experiences. Imagine having mental health challenges and having to turn up to work or to school or to university or to college every day. Or imagine not even having those opportunities to go to those spaces and just sitting at home with a load of challenges. Imagine all of these different things. It's difficult and we're here to help. We look at the root cause of the problems and then we work with them to understand the symptoms and work with them to overcome them and empower them to be the best they can be. There's a lot of nuance involved with losing a parent, but also the more general cases around finance, education, access to employment, access to help from other charities, from the public sector, from their employers. We're here to help them through the process and help them empower themselves to be better people and to thrive through their grief. To be able to do that, we have 2 core focus areas. One is research. We're pioneering research in this space that's currently being neglected for a long time by institutions, by the government, by other research work streams. We're doing that to understand the nuances of death and losing people at a young age and how that can impact people from different places, from different areas. Through that, the next thing that we're doing is helping their support network. So we're working with a number of institutions, both schools, universities, colleges, employers, to come up with new bereavement policies that are best practice and also to understand a bit more about what young adults may be going through when they've lost a parent. It is fundamental that we continue to grow our partnerships, both with institutions and with individuals, to better serve our community of young adults who've lost a parent. Our ultimate goal is to help young adults, 18 to 30, who have lost one or both parents, and you can help us do that.